Prior to the arrival of the International Olympic Committee Evaluation Commission, who will be in town to evaluate Chicago and its plan for the 2016 Games, Mayor Daley was joined by City and Chicago 2016 officials, as well as a number of athletes at a press conference April 2nd. He thanked the people of Chicago for the support they've shown in bringing the Olympic and Paralympic Games to the city and to outline the benefits they would bring to the region. Here are highlights from that press conference.
Every 2 years in the nations of the world, they come together and participate in the Summer or Winter Olympic or Paralympic Games. During the few weeks of the Olympic competition, the athletes celebrate the best of the human spirit and our shared commitment to accomplishment, friendship, and unity. Political, religious, and other differences are basically put aside so that the athletes, regardless of who they are or where they're from, can achieve their potential in all the competitions. There are moments that are heartbreaking, especially moments of defeat. But there are also far greater moments of individual and team accomplishments that go beyond national glory to lift our hearts and leave us wanting more of the Olympic and Paralympic spirit to help lift everyday relations among our nations. This week, the International Olympic and Paralympic Committee Evaluation Commission will visit Chicago so they can experience our city, understand for themselves how a city would best host the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Few cities in the world receive the honor of hosting the Olympic Games. This year, Chicago won the opportunity to stand among the few. We are very proud to represent the United States in the competition and to be among the final 4 international cities, one of which will achieve this honor. We have come a long way since May of 2006, when I asked Pat Ryan to come over to my office and talk about some new appointment to head the exploratory committee to determine the feasibility of holding the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games in Chicago. But receiving this bid isn't guaranteed. We have made a strong case for Chicago to stand alongside other international cities, such as Beijing, Sydney, Athens, which have hosted successful games in the past, and put a positive decision isn't certain. Over the next few days, we'll have the opportunity to address members of the International Olympic Committee and bring home our message that Chicago is the right city to embody the Olympic spirit and send it throughout the world in 2016. But today I want to address the people of Chicago. First, I want to thank you for your overwhelming support you've already shown to bring the Olympic and Paralympic Games to Chicago. We couldn't have come this far without you. And we won't be in a position to get the bid unless everyone works together on behalf of our great city. We're proud of Chicago, its beauty, our people, and of course, our spirit. We're proud to show the world all the great things our city has to offer. And that's why today I want to reiterate that by hosting the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games, we have an historic opportunity, just like other cities in the past had the same opportunity. From the global attention we receive, the economic growth we'll experience, the investments we will make in our neighborhoods, our city could be transformed. Also, I want to make it clear to every person in Chicago that we would not have pursued the Games unless Chicago stood to greatly benefit from hosting the Games. As I said before, those who plan for their future, who actively look ahead for bigger opportunities, will not only survive, but also thrive. Sure, we're in a recession now, and things will get worse before they even get better. But we are pursuing the bid because we know that won't always be the same. Our goal is to position Chicago to reap the benefits of the better times to come. From the beginning, my vision has been the Games to provide a lasting legacy of investment, economic growth, job creation in Chicago and throughout the metropolitan area. It also has been my goal to broaden the perception that our city is a modern, diverse city for the 21st century, uniquely positioned to compete in the global economy for the best jobs, the best business, and other new investments. Our Olympic game plan encompasses our entire city, with benefits to be shared over the short and long term. The 2016 Olympic Games will grow our economy, create hundreds of thousands of jobs, generate billions in new economic activity. The impact will be enormous, and most of it will be concentrated in Chicago neighborhoods, although it will also be felt throughout the metropolitan area, the state, the Midwest, and the nation. A study commissioned by Chicago 2016, and conducted by an independent research firm found the Games would generate more than $22 billion in new economic activity in the state from 2011 through 2021, spending that otherwise would not take place. The city's share of the new economic activity would be about $13.7 billion. The study estimated that 315,000 jobs years, the equivalent of one full year of work for 315,000 people, would be created as a result of hosting the Games. Of that total, more than half, or 172,000 jobs, would be in Chicago, would generate more than $7 billion in wages. These new jobs will be created in many areas, especially during the construction and hospitality industry. This economic opportunity will be shared by all. As you know, the Chicago 2016 and its Outreach Advisory Council have signed a memorandum of understanding with community groups that focuses on establishing programs that will ensure broad participation, diversity in contracting, procurement, construction, workforce development, affordable housing, and yes, community enhancements. And then, of course, there are even longer economic benefits, those that continue to accrue long after the Games are completed. Increases in tourism, along with business, job creation, and growth. Next, the Games will leave a lasting legacy of improved neighborhood quality of life, including some in the metropolitan area. With the generous support of a number of Chicago area foundations, we have created the 2016 Fund for Chicago Neighborhoods. Its goal is to make the Games more accessible, sustainability and history, particularly for the neighborhoods most affected by them. The Chicago 2016 continues to work with all city agencies, community organizations, elected officials to provide training that will prepare the workers and businesses for job opportunities, vendor participation associated with preparing for and hosting the Games as well. Almost all the game venues are in public parks, will be existing facilities or temporary in nature, so that construction times, impact on the environment will be minimized and the costs will be contained. All Chicagoans will benefit for generations to come from some of the new assets that would be permanent. Those physical legacies include an aquatic center, amphitheater for sporting and cultural events in Washington Park, a multi-sport facility, 50-meter recreational and competition swimming pools in Douglas Park, a brand new field hockey in Jackson Park, new recreation spaces at Northerly Island with your youth sailing center, rowing course, kayaking, paddling course, outdoor sports and environmental center, new tennis courts in Lincoln Park. The Olympic Village, which will be developed on the site of the closed Michael Reese Hospital, will become a mixed-income housing and retail community for Chicago residents. And the city plans to develop the land regardless of whether it wins the right to host the Games. It will serve as a catalyst for continued revitalization of the near South Side. Because our vision encompasses the metropolitan area, we have been working closely with the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus 2016 Regional Coordinating Committee to develop ways to engage the region in the bid process and discuss the ways the region can benefit. To date, 236 cities out of 273 in the region have passed resolutions in support of the bid. Through the Olympics, we have the opportunity to deepen our commitment to become the nation's most environmentally friendly city. For example, Public shuttles and other vehicles used for the Games would be powered by low-carbon fuels or electricity, and the amount of water used in the Olympic Village and the venues will be reduced by using best practices in water management and conservation. And the Games would serve as a catalyst for funding for the federal government to meet our public transit, infrastructure, and security needs. There will be other legacies, for example. Our bid is about inspiring young people around the world to participate in sport through the Olympic and Paralympic movement. It is about teaching children the values that sports in general can offer: dedication, fair play, fitness, and self-confidence. We believe that sport for younger people should be a national priority. World Sport Chicago will serve as a living legacy of the Chicago Olympic and Paralympic bid. Its goal is to enhance the image, the awareness, and the participation in Olympic sports across Chicago, and to extend Chicago's international outreach for sport and youth. It has already made an impact in our communities by partnering with the Chicago Park District, the Chicago Public Schools, and national sport governing bodies to use sport as a positive tool for overcoming urban challenges. We call this the Urban Youth Sport Initiative, which will serve as a model for other cities across the United States. Chicago's 2016, in partnership with World Sport Chicago and other partners, have launched the Chicago Paralympic Development Program, the first program of its kind in the country. Chicago 2016 and World Sport Chicago have already exposed to 10,000 of Chicago's young people to new sports through clinics and other events that help Chicago youth stay engaged in positive activities. The presence of the Olympians in our classroom and parks already have a tremendous source of inspiration to young people of our city. And let me repeat something that I've said many times. Our plan is financially conservative, reasonable, and feasible. It protects all of our taxpayers. Hosting the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic would also present Chicago with unique opportunity, not only to attract hundreds of thousands of visitors, but also to place our city, through the national and international media, in the homes of billions of people all around the world. And that in turn would help us make cultural connections, expand our working relationships so we can continue to build a very strong, diverse local economy that improves the quality of life for all its residents and is competitive in the new global society. Today, I ask all Chicagoans to join with me and all of us welcome the IOC Evaluation Commission in sharing your love of our city, your excitement about the Games, the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Here are some things you can do. Make a Chicago 2016 poster, hang it in your window. Encourage your friends to visit the 2016 website and express your support for the bid. Serve as a Chicago 2016 volunteer. Urban areas everywhere face great challenges today. Economic, social, educational, cultural. Chicago is no different. There are a small number of defining moments in our history and development of our city, moments that were followed by massive and positive changes and improved the quality of life. The decision to build the Illinois and Michigan Canal, the Great Chicago Fire, the World's Fair of 1893, and the 2016 Olympic and Paralympic Games would be such a moment for Chicago. It would help ensure that Chicago remains a vibrant, a creative, and a growing place where our children and future generations will have a good life. Thank you.
This has been a marathon. We've been at it 3 years. We are still a long way to go. There's 6 months, and there's a cliche in this Olympic business that says the last 6 months, the last 6 weeks, the last 6 hours, the last 6 minutes are the most important, because people make up their minds at the end. But we are at a very fast pace, and there's a lot yet to do. But we're very excited about having the Evaluation Commission here, and we're very excited about showing them our great city, and starting with the lakefront and the parklands and showing the venues, and to have them get a look at the beauty of this city and the fact that it was likely built to host the Olympics. We've had that comment, and I think there's a lot of validity to that. We won the domestic bid because of the people of the city of Chicago. The enthusiasm that the people showed in the domestic bid when we beat out Los Angeles and prior to that San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Houston was really what convinced the U.S. Olympic Committee that this is where they ought to go. And every time that we meet with the leadership of the International Olympic Committee, they said, make sure you keep the enthusiasm of the people of Chicago high. Well, we're very pleased to report to you that this enthusiasm is very high. We just had a recent poll conducted, and 78% of people polled in the Chicago area are positively supporting the bid. That is very, very high at any point in time, but it's particularly high now as we've been going through 3 years, and people have had the opportunity to ask questions. So we're very proud of that support, and I think you should be proud of the fact that the people of Chicago are passionately supportive. And what we're telling the International Olympic Committee is that passion not only translates into their support, but it will translate into their engagement. And our goal all along has been to do what Sydney, Barcelona, and Lillehammer did when they hosted the games in their cities, by getting their public engaged in the games, welcoming the people, welcoming the athletes, welcoming the Olympic family. And that's what we want and we need now this week with the International Olympic Commission here. We need the public to be engaged in support, and we think that we will have that. The mayor talked about the economic impact. Obviously, some people question that, but these were independent experts, economists with no dog in the hunt. They're from California. They're just professionals, and they did a study, and it's all incremental. So it's income that would be generated on top of what would have been generated if we didn't have the games. So we're very proud of the fact that these games will put a spotlight of the world on Chicago. Television seeing the lakefront and the skyline, 4 billion people looking at Chicago and its beauty. In addition to that, all the tourism that will be generated and all of this positive impacting revenue. The other thing that we're really very excited about is the role that our Olympians have played with us. And you see them here today, but they've been supporting us all along. And that's been really helpful. They've been guiding us, telling us how things ought to work in the village, how things ought to work in different venues. And Chicago has a history of developing a lot of great Olympians. And we believe with World Sports Chicago, as the mayor referenced, we'll have an opportunity to continue to develop young athletes and invest in young athletes through the Park District, through the public school system, CPS. But we win, then we have what we believe is a sizable contingency fund that can fund youth sport for a very long time, as Southern California got from the '84 Olympics. So we just want you to know that your support has been important to us. I think the Chicago media has been challenging, but fair, supportive, and we appreciate that. And this is really all about our people. That's what it's about. It's not about anything else. It's about doing something really important for the people of Chicago. So as we're all in this together and we're all partnering together, we go forward now and welcome the IOC and share this great city with them.